Whoever wants to be my disciple, or whoever wants to come after me, must deny themselves, must take up their cross and follow me. So we have to desire. He's telling us, he's giving us the prescription here for being his disciple, for coming after him, for following after him. Once we make that decision that we want to do this, it starts with that desire. So once we have that desire, as soon as we meet someone who has that desire, we need to then be looking for that next step in ourselves and in others of what's the next step. A lot of people want to follow Jesus. A lot of people want to be a fan of Jesus, but they're not, they're cultural Christians, or they're cultural disciples. They're not disciples. They just, cultural Christians. A lot of people in Christendom, and that, I think that's a problem. Well, in my opinion, that's a problem inside of the church. It reminds me of Gideon and his 300. God was like, only get the ones who are going to pick up that water with their hand and drink from their hand. The ones who lap the water with their tongue, tell them to go home. And it's a lot of lapping Christians who are just kind of like, I'll go to church, I'll do this, I'll play around with this. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm calling you to do. I'm calling you to be my disciple. I'm calling you to deny yourself. So if we're going to do this thing, we got to do it the way he says it and not the way we want to. Paul was like, look, Peter was like, no, we not going to do it. We could do it another way. You ain't got to die, and you ain't got to do all this that you talking about. And he said, get behind me, Satan. You got the mind of a man and not of God. If you want to follow me, if you want to come after me, you got to first deny yourself. You got to deny your life. You got to deny your personality. You got to deny everything about yourself, your goals, your ambitions. You got to put all that to the side, and then pick up your purpose. Pick up your cross. At that, Jesus is still alive, but during that season of his life, his season was the purpose for that season was the cross, until he said it was finished, and he went to another chapter. But during that season, and as we know, we have different chapters of our lives, different seasons of our lives, and so he's saying that any given season, man, wherever you find yourself in life, if you're going to truly follow me, you got to deny anything that you think that you want, think you deserve, think you need.